I have a slippery relationship with this word. I understand it. I conceptually think ultimately probably great. And the way that it gets branded as a weapon to beat humans with because of our subjective understanding of what is right or wrong, I conceptually love morality, but I have a big problem with morality.
Excellent. Hey, y'all, welcome. We are so happy to have you join us and chat with us today. My name is Kimberly.
I'm Cara Jean,
This is
and
Neurospicy Dialogues, and today's word is morality. And it is an ever evolving, definitely written in pencil, written in sand, right by the shoreline, because it goes with the tide.
yeah, yes, I I was months, like a little baby eco villager when we moved here. And we were having a big ceremony down at Mother Maple, and it was a big salon where everybody was talking about things and the morality of it, the right and wrong, the things that we all collectively understand are right and wrong, kind of came up. And I don't agree with that. I just straight don't agree. Are there things that I think collectively we could agree to? Yes, also, but and so let's take killing people as an example. I truly believe collectively that we all agree that killing someone is bad, unless, and that's the thing, there's an unless they attacked you first, in which case then you're just defending themselves. Unless they were hurting somebody, in which case you're defending somebody. Then killing somebody has morality to it rather than we all
Mm-hmm.
just literally one breath ago said, nodded along saying, yeah, killing people is
Right.
bad. Uh,
But then you get into everybody's individual definition of defending and how they can justify what is societally considered bad behavior.
yeah. I,
Yeah, this is a loaded when I wrote this word onto the little fortune cookie and tucked it into Dino's cup, then yeah, I was like, this is a word that's really complicated.
it is. I and so much so because what we know just on the bio level of how the human brain adapts and functions and how that diversifies throughout cultures is that positive and negative, right and wrong are highly subjective based entirely upon your lived experience. It's right up there with this should be obvious. Obvious is not obvious. It is only obvious to you and other people who have that same lived experience. For all of you, it's like, well, obviously, duh. And for anyone who doesn't have that, they simply don't have that. It is not because they're being vague or childish or trying to upset you. They just literally don't have. I have an example. I have an example. When my husband just so when we had our tiny human, my husband decided to be the stay-home parent so that I could continue launching the business. Perfect. And I had no intention of just being like, "Hey, household duties are yours," because I would hate that if someone did that to me. So I was like, "Okay, we're gonna want to sit down and talk about this. Let's go over all the things that need to happen in the house and then sort of divide it based on what makes sense for both of us." We have planned a whole conversation. And on Monday, I'm like, "Hey, have you been looking?" On Wednesday, I was like, "Hey, have you been looking?" And on Friday, I was like, "Hey, we're talking tomorrow. Have you got your research? Have you gone to take a look at things?" He's like, "Yep, I'm all ready." Saturday morning comes around, he's on his phone and he's cursing and swearing and complaining. What is going on? He goes, "Did you know you have to clean inside cabinets?" Yes, I did know that. Also, I would have thought that is obvious because did you open it? Well, then you've interacted with it. If you interact with something, you have to clean it also. I know that because I'm the eldest daughter from the 80s of two youngest children. Like I was groomed for that kind of awareness. He's the middle kid of a bunch of boys who's not groomed for that kind of awareness. So obvious to me is simply not because he's trying to be challenging. He literally, for the first time at 30 something years old, was like, you have to clean inside things that are closed. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Crazy that.
I think of that as morality, right? Morality makes total sense as long as you were groomed and conditioned to understand it that way.
Mhm.
If you won't, you're going to be like, oh, you mean you can't clean inside cabinets? No, that's morally right or morally wrong. I did not know
Makes me think of Dr. Seuss. I loved the morality tales within Dr. Seuss, presenting it in such a accessible way for kids.
that.
Maybe that's like where my sense of morality comes from. Maybe it kind of comes from Dr. Seuss a little bit and Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
those were morality tales.
100%. Yes, yes. I love that Dr. Seuss always had both sides, right? Dr. Seuss is like the DNA of morality. He was like, you're gonna fly high with the highest of flyers, except when you don't, because often you won't.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you said Twilight Zone, so I immediately jumped to William Shatner's episode where he got stuck in the diner because the diner's fortune teller thing wouldn't give him permission to leave, and then he could never leave the diner because the diner fortune teller was right. Did you
I
watch
don't
that one?
remember that one. I don't remember that. When you said William Shatner, it was the one on the plane.
Right. Nope. I love the diner one better. I know the plane is the
Okay.
popular one, but
Well,
there
because
is
that's
one
where
where
my
he's in the
brain
diner.
immediately went. William Shatner, Twilight Zone, on the plane with the guy in the suit.
Yep.
I immediately picture him and I'm like, oh my God, the wardrobe department making that outfit. So fun.
Yeah. So this one is a diner, and him and
Mm-hmm.
his date go in, and it's got one of those like fortune teller things, and it pushes the fortune, and they're like, haha, this is so silly. And it's something random like a rock is gonna roll across the road and pop your tire. I don't know, that is totally wrong, but something like that. And they're like, haha, that's
Mm-hmm.
so silly. What a weird fortune. And then as they're leaving, a rock rolls across and pops their tire, and they're like, what? Then they go back, and then the next fortune comes true. And then then they start to get nervous. Like if we don't have this thing telling us what the future is, what are we going to do? And they can't take it. So then they just spend the rest of their life in this diner. And I think I could be making this up, but I think that was like one of those recycle uh, stories. So when they got there, that they were the only young people in a diner full of elders, and the elders were always these same people, and
Mm-hmm.
this was the only booth that was open.
Hmm.
And now after their turns, now they're the people of that booth, and they don't say it, but your jump is they're going to be the next elder until one of those dies, and then the next round of kids come in, and that's how this diner just absorbs
Hmm. Are you sure it wasn't Outer Limits? Because I don't
people.
remember that from Twilight Zone.
I think it was Twilight Zone, could have been Outer Limits. I mean, to be fair, I watched those interchangeably.
Okay.
That's legit.
Was it in
Somebody out there
color?
knows this.
Was it in color or black and white? That's one way
uh
to tell if it was
right.
Twilight Zone or Outer Limits.
um
Please stand by. I can't think of
uh
Outer Limits without the full tag.
yes, here controlling the horizontal and the vertical. um I am running it in my brain right now, and it is black and white-esque. I don't know if there was sight color or if my brain is inputting that. I
Okay.
can't answer that question. I don't
Okay.
have correct. The data there is incomplete.
Right. All right. I'm not going to take up everybody's time doing that now, but I will look that up later. Y'all look it up, pause, look it up for yourselves if you need to close that loop real quick. Um, because I don't remember too many repeats of actors when it came
Yeah,
to
that's fair.
Twilight Zone. That's the only reason why I'm thinking it was a different show.
Yeah. Outer Limits would make absolute sense as well. And it is definitely
Mhm.
one of those, it's definitely an out there story.
Yeah.
I mean, they both, and he was real popular right then. Like that was the,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
cute too. Yeah. Hair.
Oh, geez. So, I mean, I can't think of him without thinking of like some of the conflicts that he had with Leonard Nimoy,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
the behind the scenes stuff.
Why did it
Um,
show so well on screen?
yeah. Yeah. They were very well matched on screen, and camera loves conflict.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that goes right back to that morality. Who was right in those conflicts?
It's that doesn't intrigue me as much because that feels too binary in thinking. I think that's one of my issues with like global morality, and not global in the sense of the planet, but global in the sense of this rule that should apply to everybody in all circumstances. That just feels like it's such a dictator kind of philosophy.
Yeah.
Um, and those kind of things are always this is the rule for you, but not for me.
Yeah.
Which we obviously see playing out a whole heck of a lot here in the States
Everywhere.
right now.
Mhm.
But yeah, but also everywhere, which is kind of,
Pretty much everywhere, always.
yeah.
Unfortunately. Hopper.
Mhm.
Disney just put out the new movie Hopper. It just got
Yeah.
onto their streaming. Um, 10 for 10 do suggest they address this actually, like
Oh,
pretty straightforward, but in a really, really cute way. Uh, I won't give any of it, any of the narrative or story away. Just watch it. And there is a council of critters, and they have a series of pond rules. And the pond rules are designed to be inclusive to everyone, right? And I think there's like three, maybe I should have looked this up and written it down, three or four of them. And one is like, get to know the people around you because it's really harder to not work together if you don't know each other's names, right? I said that all backwards and sideways. But get to know each other because knowing somebody's names makes it easier to connect and relate with them. And then
mhm.
if you're hungry, eat. And that's how this all comes up because a bear goes to eat a beaver and another beaver is like, don't do it. And then they're both like, what is wrong with you? And she's like, what? And they're like, he's hungry. She's hungry. She needs to eat. And like, do you want to eat me now? She's like, no, it's weird. And the older beaver is like, wait a second. What is going on? Uh, but that makes me think of this global morality, right? Like if there is either good or bad things, that dichotomy, that black and white, is a classic pattern where humans are misunderstanding reality, in my experience. That when you say it's either good or either bad, what I hear is there are good and bad in that. Because most things, in my experience, are like DNA. There's two sides to it, right? We want the sunshine to be there for the day. The plants need that. I need that, right? Also, if we had sunshine 24/7, that could be really destructive. We need the rest and the dark. You need light and dark together. So anytime morality is like it's right or wrong, I think, okay, so there's two sides to this. That's good to know. But when you start looking at how to phrase morality as an inclusive space, then it becomes an interesting and dynamic topic
Mhm.
because there's nuance. There are
Yeah.
16 sides.
Yeah. I don't think anything has two sides. You and I have talked about this before. Because we don't just need sunny, day and night. We also need cloudy. We need, there's like
Windy,
so many things that we need beyond those two. Nothing in nature is binary. I mean, if somebody can think of something that is truly binary, I open the door for that, because I would love to mentally challenge it. Because anytime somebody tells me something is, immediately my brain goes to,
Curious.
is there an exception to this rule? It
Yep.
goes back to the whole true false, which was the questions I hated in
The
science
bane
when
of
I
your
was
teachers.
in
Oh,
school. Yes. Gosh, I hated it. I hated it so much. Because it got to the point where I have to, and I think I told you this before, I had to write the reason why I said that when I put my answer down, because the teacher wouldn't accept it if I told them after they said I got the question wrong. Like I was trying to get the point back. And I'm like, no, that's not, because this is what was in my mind when I said the thing. And it's still in my mind now. And I didn't just like suddenly make it up. I do not accept your true false analogies of things.
to the point where she had to change it. They had to change it to the one that fits the best,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Under
I
most
love that so much.
conditions. And I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about most.
Oh,
Are we
that's
talking
a
about
great.
most observed in the past, most potentially observable? Because
From
there's a
my
lot of
point of
things
view,
that are happening in this moment that we are not consciously observing. So yeah, I anytime finite, like nail it down, put it in stone. I'm like, should we really in stone?
yeah,
Only if we agree to break the stone.
right. As only if we are agreeing to making gravel.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that my school, I could totally be wrong, but I don't think my school turned out many scientists because they didn't, well, they talked about the scientific method in class, they didn't practice the scientific method because they didn't like being challenged. Morality goes all the way back, circles around to morality. And if your morality cannot withstand conversation and challenge, then it's not moral. It's just you dictating
Yeah,
the somebody else's behavior.
that is. Who? Well, that is my experience in life a lot, right? Whether it's attached morality or back to school, right? I am certain that I had many teachers who were just, I'm very curious. I had questions. I make a living asking questions. That's how far this has gone. I'm a,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a coach for a very good reason. I have a question about that. Can I poke and prod? May I dive into that? Um, and many times through my experience, when someone says this is the way it has to be, I immediately am curious, not because I'm trying to be antagonistic. I mean, okay, that's a lie. Sometimes I am absolutely trying to be antagonistic. That there are those moments, and most of the time it's because I'm curious, because my brain doesn't see it that way, and so I have questions around that, and it really does majority of the time come back to that hustle cult programming and grooming that says, I, for some reason, get to command you because my interpretation of reality is the interpretation of reality, even though we know that there is no one way to do this. Otherwise, we'd all be doing it. There are 8 billion people, therefore, there are 8 billion ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I have always stuck on that.
Mm-hmm.
My brain gets it, and I get that in and of itself is a little weird, a
Mm-hmm.
little divergent, let's say.
When you say the way, I can't help but think of Mandalorian. This is the way. And I love that.
Oh,
And there is something in my nervous system that like really just like settles into a warm bath when I think of that idea because nice to think of a structure that you can depend on. There's something so totally cool about that. But, and also,
Oh,
yet, there are Mandalorians who don't subscribe to the way. I love that the show showed that side too, so that it wasn't um so much of a, a dogma that
yes.
it couldn't be challenged and stand up to that challenge.
Yeah. I'm rebranding my thing. The Cara Method is now being rebranded to a caraway for a lot of different reasons. One, because somebody wrote me a jingle and I love it, and caraway is in the jingle. Two, because I talk about the spice rack. We're all Neurospicy, so welcome to the spice rack. We're so glad to have your flavor here. And caraway is a spice.
Yes, it's a seed. Yes, the caraway seed,
It's
isn't
like
it?
anisey. It's delicious, yeah. And
Yeah.
you can use it as a spice all the way through it, from whether it's a flower to a seed, to the dried, like the fruit seed to the dried seed to this to the powder. You can use them all the way. I love that multi-use. Thank
Nice.
you. And then this is a thing that I talk about so much, right? Is that there is not the way, there is a way, and
Mm-hmm.
having the method has always like this is what my coaches told me when I started. That's how you're supposed to, like, this is the correct way to do it. And I just have always kind of eked against it until I realized I could a way. So now it's a caraway, which feels better for me
Nice. I love that.
because of that, because of the way or a way. I am a big fan of there being a way to go do forward. I am a big fan of there being at least a dozen ways to go forward, depending on how you look at the problem. When anytime, and I'm working on it, this is my trigger. I'm going to own that. I am doing my work in that arena. But anytime someone says the way, oh, oh, we're fighting today. That's so good to know in advance. I don't have to be so aggressive, but I am about that.
Right. Uh, I'm
Which is
trying
its
to
own
think how.
morale judgment. I'm working on it. Like I got to tuck that
Yeah.
back in for me.
Yeah. I like to pick my battles, and because if I'm going to go to battle on something, I want it to be fun for me.
Hmm.
So I have to be able to go into it with a sense of wonder and curiosity and intrigue, as opposed to, this is my position and I must defend it and I will die on this hill.
That's such a healthy life choice.
Um, so because I used to always play devil's advocate. I remember like growing up, I was constantly um choosing to put myself in the position of that. And we didn't have like a debate club in school, which was too bad, because I think I would have totally rocked debate club. I would have, please, I would have slain at that.
Yeah.
Um, because I could find the kernel of truth or morality, to circle back to our word, in any. So even if it's something that I completely disagree with, and that's where I think I would have been really good in debate club, because even if I didn't like, this is the dumbest idea ever. Oh, I have to support it now. Okay, I could find that. And I could find the piece of it that could make it make sense for me to be able to uh, convince others to join me in this. I also would have been a great cult leader, I think.
If we didn't care so much about people's self-care, I think that that's
Yes.
probably true for both of us.
And if I wasn't so much of an introvert, I don't think you
Yeah.
can really be an introvert and a cult leader. That's
Yeah, I
the
don't know.
two, yeah, the two don't feel like they naturally align in my
Yeah,
mind. There might be currently or have been in the past
an
cult
introvert.
leaders who were introverts, but if they were, I think their disciples would have to be extroverts.
Yeah, at least one of them, a figurehead of some sort.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So I don't
the
think I would have
cult
been
of
a
idea.
successful cult leader, but uh, as far as like getting people on my team, I'm pretty good at
Getting by.
at saying things in a way that will cause somebody to go, "Oh, you know what? You're absolutely right." But this is a, you have to use that power for good
Yes. It's the difference
because
between cult and culture, right?
yeah, yeah.
Cult is deplete yourself, be extractable, follow the rules because I said so. And culture says take care of yourself and so you can show up and we can work together.
Hmm. Yeah. Goes back to morality.
This one says this is the right way, this is the moral, this is, and everyone else is wrong. And this one says, did you know that multiple things can exist at the same time? Like constantly?
Hmm.
Crazy.
It's awesome.
I want to go back to the battling for fun because my brain is stuck on that now.
Yeah.
That's such a brilliant life choice.
Thank you.
My brain is like, we could choose that because that is not how we have been progressing previously. I think until you said that that was a possibility, my brain had not seen that as an option. We battle
Hmm.
because I think we like to battle because we're curious and we have learned that curiosity brings things up in other people. So we simply have to be prepared to battle if we would like information. And I'm
Hmm.
hearing that doesn't actually have to be true, which is an entire mindset shift happening inside my brain as the patterns are and pathways are expanding and exploding right now. You
Hmm.
could just choose to fight for things that are fun because you enjoy it, not because that is your existence.
Yeah. It's also if your brain is thinking like in this moment or is more outcome oriented. And I'm really investing a lot of time and energy for myself in not thinking of outcomes because you have no control over the outcome. There's too many factors between this moment and that moment. And
Right.
so if you're if you're in battle to win, that's an outcome.
Right.
And so the choices that you're making are to achieve that based on what your brain is currently perceiving. But if I'm
Yeah.
just in this battle to have fun and I don't care if I win or not, I just want to learn
What
something from it. I
spaciousness.
just want to have an experience that I haven't had before or experience something in a way that I haven't experienced it before. And that's the goal of it.
Yeah. Right. What I heard is, so you said not attached to the outcomes, but what I heard is a deep commitment to the outcome of fun with a massive detachment for what outcomes have to get you to a place of fun.
Yeah. 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 And it's the broad sense of fun. It's not like, it makes me laugh. It's silly. It's that because there are battles that are important. So I'm not trying to minimize that at all. But if I'm not so much focused on winning and whatever I've decided winning is, because that's also choosing the outcome.
Yeah.
I don't know what's best.
Mm. I'm not saying it's morally right or wrong. I'm just curious because I only know the part that I know and I want to know the other part. Tell me
Exactly.
more about that.
Yeah. That's what I like about the movies where they take like Maleficent, where, okay, there's the story of Sleeping Beauty that we all know, and she's the bad guy. And yet, let's change the angle on that.
There was
It's like
something different.
Beowulf and Grendel. Like that was the first time I saw the villains side of the story. And it truly rocked my brain.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love love is a strong word, but I kind of do. I love when people are really upset about it, right? When the Maleficents or the what's the 101 Dalmatian version?
Oh yeah. The one with Emma
Cruella
Stone.
de Cruella.
Yes, yes.
When those come out, people are so mad because they're changing the story. Did they? Did they, or they just show you a narrative that had previously not been available? And gosh, isn't this rage that we're seeing around that a mirror of some of the rage we're seeing around wanting to teach the true history of the world rather than the victor's narrative, and how much of a challenge that is to certain nervous systems?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I so applaud storytellers who challenge the existing stories. So cool. So cool.
Conceptually, why I really like the idea of what's the one where the cancer guy starts making meth?
Oh, Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. There you go. Conceptually, I love the concept of that. I have some moral issues around glamorizing the creation of meth, uh, and even normalizing that conversation really at all. That's a me issue. I'm aware of that. Conceptually, though, the concept of trying to humanize the person who is so bad is really empathetically beneficial to our nervous systems and psyches as a
Yeah.
collective.
Agreed. Agreed. And that brings us to um so is it just me, or is karma a way of outsourcing judgment?
Oh, oh, say more. Okay.
I was listening to a book, and in the book the character was talking about karma, and how this person was going um to get their comeuppance. Karma will get them someday. They'll have to pay karma or whatever. And I thought, why do we do that?
Yeah.
Why? And this isn't about like the religion or the philosophy or the anything else, but it's intriguing to me that rather than choosing the battle, which is, this kind of goes back to battles and morality, which is why this was floating in my brain today, is having some outside force that we are going to abdicate responsibility for the justice of this wrong, or um, the reward of the good comes from there, that
Yeah.
karma that we can't control. It's only a bank that we can deposit into or withdraw from, but we're not actively involved in it. And it's that abdicating of responsibility, of action, of influence,
Hmm.
and finding comfort in the idea that I don't have to do anything. And there's a whole, like, a psychology behind what that is. Psychologists study, and it's got a name and all that. But the idea of not doing something because I have decided this outside force will take care of it for me.
Huh.
That intrigues me.
I, I love the way that you presented this. My brain went immediately to gentle parenting.
Mm,
um, which we are gentle parents. It works great. I would trust that there are kids where that would be incredibly challenging and or situations where that could be incredibly challenging. And what what I where the parallel I heard in that is we are often not looking for ways to punish or to reprimand. We'll do reprimands, not so much punish. And we're constantly adapting to how life presents rather than trying to contrive a thing to force this understanding. We have discovered that we can be, you can do that. I would suggest that you be really careful and lay down a towel because I think that that could easily spill based on what I am seeing. And then they don't listen to you, and then it spills, and then they have to clean up a mess. And karmically, I don't have to do anything, right? Like I just presented some information and we will handle the other side of it should that arrive. And then we'll have a conversation about what were the things that you could have observed previously that next time you could be aware of so you don't have to clean up that mess,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds similar but adjacent to the karma.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say well, it's outcomes. And if you just think of karma as outcomes, then it is in alignment because what you're
Yeah.
seeing is I am seeing this mousetrap and it looks like it's going to potentially could have this result along the multitude of other potential results. But this is one that is not optimal that perhaps we could plan for.
Yes.
That's all you're saying. To me, that doesn't feel like karma happening.
Right.
But maybe that's just my like the weight that I put on that particular word.
I think you're right. I think it came to my brain because karma and balance come into that conversation, not
Gotcha.
because that it is attached to karma, but it is that balance point, right? So we
Yeah.
can use it to offboard the balance. Say somebody else is going to judge you for that karma's coming to get you. Or you can
Mm-hmm.
look at the balance and go, what can we rebalance next time?
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. Using the idea of karma as a balance. Yeah. It totally fits in my mind too. Yeah.
Well, this is fascinating. From morality to karma, which interestingly feels like a solid through line narrative. I love that for us. Look at how
How rare.
clean that rabbit holes is were. I mean, we did go all the way from William Shatner to the Twilight Zone to so we had some adventure on today.
Yes, we did.
And as per usual, thank you all so much for joining us for Neurospicy Dialogues. I'm Cara Jean.
I am Kimberly.
Bye.